Founder Culture, the podcast for founders and startup leaders who understand that building a business may be hard, but building a team, now that's where things get tricky. I'm Romaine Wright, founder of Just Right Consulting LLC and creator of Thrive or Derive. In every episode, I take one real team issue, break down the behaviors driving it, and provide strategies on how to fix it. All right, welcome to the show. I'm really excited to be joined today by Jason McNamara as the founder of the No More 9 to 5 Club. Jason has built a global ecosystem designed to empower entrepreneurs, professionals, veterans, and high achievers with the tools, mindset, and support needed to create freedom on their own terms. Super excited to have you, Jason. Welcome to the show.
Ooh, happy to be here, Romaine. Let's go. I've
Yes,
been waiting for this one.
we've been waiting, right? We've had this on the books for a couple of months now. And I asked you to be on the show because, we engage with each other a lot with the No More 9 to 5 Club and Rise Above the Grind podcast with Alyssa Bakar, one of my previous guests. And one of our brief exchanges on a panel actually inspired a full episode for me on story framing and how entrepreneurs talk about their journey and that impact on their teams who choose to work the 9 to 5. And so I want to talk about all of that with you, particularly about the No More 9 to 5 Club and how I've heard you describe it as something for everyone.
Listen, I just want to say I can speak to both sides, right? Because I'm a founder and I'm also a worker. Before I was a founder, I was a worker. I was at the bottom rung of the world growing up, single full-time mom working overnight shifts at the hospital. And I had to learn a lot as a kid. I worked at Burger King, Subway, Walmart, all of these regular low-paying jobs that should be a starter job. And it was that. It was a starter job because then I joined the military. And that's where I learned so much discipline, so much stuff that would help me in my later careers get to where I am now. And a lot of times, the founders, we forget where we came from, or we didn't come from that. So we don't know what it's like for our employees. We might have grown up with a silver spoon. Maybe our first house was given to us. I don't know. But we have to understand that while we have a vision, we got to take care of our team. We got to take care of our people. And we got to have the right people on the team too. And I learned that from working a 9 to 5. Like I'm in an office with these people that are all hiding from work. Nothing's getting done. They made it so easy for me to break all their records. That's the type of employees you want to keep, not the ones that were hiding.
That's actually one of the things I said in the episode. I talked about how, when you're talking about the episode's actually called You Escaped the 9 to 5, but your team hasn't. Right. And so I talked about how when you present success through only the lens of ownership, then you're actually telling your best employees they should quit because that's the only way they can make, great advances in their lives and be successful and meet great achievements. And you just described that that's not what you want. You want to keep those folks, right? You want those folks that are driven, high achievers, high performers to be along with you on the journey. So tell me a little bit about in your experience and what you share and coach, how you coach others on how to find that balance between trying to inspire your team with your journey and your story, but still showing that respect and compassion for their journey, their choices, and how they're showing up in life and how they're experiencing life right now.
Well, there's a ton of ways you can motivate, incentivize, and reward your top performers, right? So, and we've all heard the saying, a bad apple can spoil the bunch. So you need to be cognizant of all the members on your team, not just the top performers, but you want to put those people who are doing good in charge, right? You want them to train the rest of the team. You want them to be publicly rewarded. And the people who need to be reprimanded, you do that privately. It's called integrity and respect.
Mhm.
And, we need to remember the golden rule, even in business, no matter how frustrated you are that you've taught somebody something and you expected better of them and you believed in them, but apparently they don't believe in them. It's not your role to bring your emotions into business. It's your role to bring your best brain and your heart, right? Because ultimately you want these people to succeed. That's like saying, I hope the president fails. No, if you're in this country, you don't, right? Um, So we need to make sure from the top down we're leading by example. And the people that have room for growth, we need to make a decision. Are we willing to teach them and wait for them to grow? Or are we just going to make smarter choices? So I tell, all my leaders, like, be sharp with not just your time, but your dollars. Like, be careful of who you invest in, who you trust with your business, but definitely don't do it all yourself. You got to put good people, good systems in place because you, as a founder, you, as a leader, you can't do it all. You might know it all, but you should not be doing it all.
And you don't even know it all, right? You know, you
No, no. I mean, you might have the answers that the employees need to know, is what I meant, and you should definitely use your ears too, because your employees will teach you. I empower all of our team members to use their brain, come up with creative solutions. I tell them stories about where I work smarter instead of harder, and how it's led to my success. And I want everybody else to be able to think outside of the box that's on my team, regardless of their position, their title, their salary. I want them to know that I'm listening. I'm listening. If they have a good idea, it's like, open that up for your community. Listen to your people.
I talk about that a lot because what I'm hearing you say is that I encourage them to do that. And it's not a threat to me as the founder that they do that, right? I really want them to find um, ownership within what they're doing for me at the No More 9 to 5 Club. Now you just talked about systems as well and putting things in place, and so the No More 9 to 5 Club is a way to do that. And so I'm giving I want you to take the time to share with us a little bit about what that is and whatever you would like to the listeners to know about the infrastructure, the resources, all the things that you offer, and why it's so important to you that there's an opportunity for people to get involved in that.
Absolutely. Going back from when I was poor and growing up in a rough neighborhood, I learned about what not to do in life to be like them when I grow up. From Guantanamo Bay to the CIA interrogations to breaking records of the state of Florida's Department of Economic Opportunity and Sales, I learned so much, and I realized I had so much to learn after I retired. I started several nonprofits. I went and got my MBA, and I started learning from other experts about things I had no knowledge of, but also noticing so many people had so many gaps to excellence. So I take this mentality about poking holes in our ship seriously, not just from the team, but from the clients. I want everybody to provide feedback because people might think about room for improvement in their head, might have a silent complaint that can grow and fester. And if it's voiced, it can be solved immediately. So the No More 9 to 5 Club is a community of these people who are able to teach me things. They're able to, you know, meet me where I'm at and other club members, but it's also a system. Like you said, I've acquired a whole lot of artificial intelligence tools, CRMs, automations, and virtual assistants who know how to do it all. And I wanted to make this accessible for everybody. So, people are offering the same set of stuff for like 10, 15, 20 times the price. And I figured it could be a no brainer offer for the folks out there who are like, hey, I want a good deal and I want to work with a company that has integrity and is mission first. That's us. It shows in our pricing, but it also shows in the excellent service and software that we're basically prescribing to the world. It's what we use personally, so we're not selling you anything we're not eating, and it works. That's the beautiful part. So besides the software and the community and the team that's trained on how to use the software, because let's be honest, as a founder, as an entrepreneur, it's not always smart for us to learn new things all the time. We should understand the components to our business, but not necessarily do all the work that maybe a virtual assistant should be doing. We also have a business in a box. So for people who want to monetize the No More 9 to 5 Club, they should probably know that we're a little bit more than that. We also have a DBA, that's a neuroscience company called Mind Trainer Pro, because we teach people how to use artificial intelligence, how to delegate to their team, how to manifest the life of their dreams so they can exchange value at scale. But if they're not using their human brain effectively, they're not going to perform well. So, Mind Trainer Pro is the other human arm to this because our human operators need to function better. We need their brains at the peak performance, whether they're an athlete or a CEO or a politician. I don't care for that matter. I want them all to think better, to feel better, to be happy and live life. So, that's the quick version of what the No More 9 to 5 Club is: community, system, software, people that can use it all, and people that can guide people and teach people, help them get to their next best version faster.
You've just tapped into something that's an underlying current through my podcast, which is it starts in the mind, right? It starts in the mind, and it also starts with you as the leader. You set the tone and the stage and create the environment that everything is happening in. And so if something's not going well on your team, it starts with you. um, so so I love that. And something else that I heard in what you were saying, and I've heard you actually explicitly say before, is I'm inviting people into my circle, into my space, into my network that know more about something than I do, so that they're teaching me and they're adding to the richness of what I'm able to deliver and offer, because of their zone of excellence, their genius, right? I don't have to know it all. I'm going to invite those people in, or I'm asking those people to join into this community. So not just so they can learn, but so they can add to it. So is that accurate?
100%, 100%. Finding the people who need growth, like we're here for them. We have free courses. They can tap in, sitting in the back. They can ask questions. But what I'm looking for is to edify the leaders who, like you said, can teach me something. I can only teach what I've excelled in. And I like to call it my current understanding because somebody else might have a different perspective. I'm not 100% right all the time. I just clearly broke a bunch of records and did a bunch of good things. So my ideas usually work. However, other people have great ideas too. And the power of the mastermind, the power of me not having to be the brainiac, the guy with all the answers is huge because I don't have all the answers. And together as a collective, we get so much more done. I'm sitting on a podcast with you, with Alyssa, with Maury, with Willard, and we're sitting there vibing, and you're coming up with a completely different idea and perspective that has now inspired me. So whatever I was going to say is out the window. Just boom, mind blown. Wow. And that's the type of energy I want. I want people who are creative thinkers. I want people who are doers. I want people who have a track history of success because it's a lot easier to help them do better than the people who are struggling and failing repeatedly. Those folks, I love y'all. We got y'all stacked, but you got a lot of work to do and you got to put in the work. There's no magic pill. You can't put in a quarter, turn the machine, and all of a sudden be successful. I'm tired of people thinking that.
It's funny that you are, as you're talking to my audience, you're saying things that I say in a different way, which is an example of exactly what you just described. We can be in the moment having a conversation and have something in mind that we want to share, and then someone says something that's so profound, it's like, whoa. What I said now just expanded, and I've got to think about it before I say it again, or share that idea. And I want to sit back and let them go, keep on going, so that I can be expanded, I can learn and grow. And now my perspective is totally different from this 30-minute conversation that I had with a bunch of people who maybe I just met, because even though I'm connected through Alyssa's podcast, I'm still not fully integrated into the No More 9 to 5 Club either, right? So I'm still learning and gleaning from you guys from afar. So this is for me as well. And so glad that you made this time to have this one-on-one conversation with me. Um, as we start to wrap up, I would love for you, as again, the kind of initiating thought behind all of this is the context in which entrepreneurs and founders embrace their entrepreneurial journey while respecting their employees and their journeys as well. So, any final thoughts that you have, any advice that you have? Use that opportunity to plug anything else that makes sense. I usually don't have a whole lot of plugging, but I find so much value in the work that you're doing that I want to create the space for it. So, round things off however you're inspired
Absolutely.
to do so,
And truly,
and
truly a
tell
pleasure
us,
to be on your podcast here.
that advice, but
You've
everything
asked
else
some
that
great
comes along with
questions.
it.
So, we have a variety of events. When we made this, we wanted to make that accessible, whether you need help with marketing, with wealth creation, with philanthropy, with getting your goals accomplished. There are a variety of other things that you can teach people how to use AI and their human brand. You can tap into a variety of events where different people show up because they're interested, different leaders show up because they're there to drop value and knowledge. I want to shout out our No More 9 to 5 Foundation. We have a 501c3 that gives away all of our entrepreneurial training, Romain's expertise, my expertise, Alyssa's expertise, all the names that we haven't even mentioned. So you can tap in without having to put in your credit card first. Also, with the brain entrainment, we're in the App Store. So if you go to the Apple App Store, the Google Play Store, and type in Mind Trainer, one word, and Pro, you're going to get free lifetime access to digital coffee. Put on a pair of headphones, wake your brain up. There's also a happiness visual entrainment that you can watch with your eyes open. Close your eyes for the visual coffee for maximum impacts. Smile and love life. That's the key to success and happiness. Who you are, the quality of thoughts you think show up into how you do business, how you treat your employees. And you mentioned I can give a few plugs. So we have some amazing experts, from people who provide employee benefit programs to true alternatives in wealth creation, whether it's with annuities or real estate, government contracting, crypto, forex. We have all the various experts inside of the No More 9 to 5 Pro. There's nothing worse than a burnt out CEO who hasn't diversified. So make sure you got your money making money for you while you sleep. That's how I created my financial freedom. I believe financial literacy, first and foremost, and entrepreneurship is a form of investing that requires sometimes capital, but definitely time to get set up. So make sure when you're setting it up with your time, make sure you're putting the right people and systems in place so you don't create a full-time job. Well, May, I'm out.
Oh, I love it. And how can I not listen to someone who retired at 32? But I really value and appreciate the time that you made to be with me today, the wisdom and insight that you've shared, and will continue to be connected. And listeners, go ahead and go into the show notes, read more about Jason and his work, and then look into the No More 9 to 5 Club. Hopefully, we'll see you at some events in the future. Again, I found value just being on the outside of it. And so I can't even, or I can only fathom how much impact it will have when I fully engage. Also, jump in the show notes for more information about how to connect with me. If you're ready to take your team to the next level, Jason can help you build the systems. I can help you with the operation and day to day of how you work with the people, right? Because it's great to have things in place, but if you don't have an environment where people feel like they're valued, seen, and can thrive, it all falls apart. Thank you again, Jason, for being on the show. And until next time, build trust and results will follow.